Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. Today we are memory planning the week that was February 24th through to March 2nd, and we are using, once again, to absolutely nobody's surprise, a beautiful kit from Planiface, and I am pairing that with a lemongrass foil bundle from, I was going to say SPC and Scribble Prints Co, and I was going to say like Spibble Prints Co. Don't know. But Scribble Prints Co. Bit of an exciting plan with me because I could be wrong. It's been a long time between videos, voiceovers, all of that. You guys know we're on like a permanent like catch up kind of situation. But I actually color block. And I've never color blocked before. And I was very nervous about color blocking. But I figured if I was going to color block any week that this would be the perfect one because the colors are incredible in this kit. And I actually love the way it turned out. I'm actually shocked that I've forgotten that I've color blocked because I don't think I've color blocked again since. And I don't know that I had any intentions to do so either. So the fact that we've done it, fantastic. I don't remember what happened this week. I'm just doing a little skim to see if anything jumps out at me, but it does not. I just noticed that some of my stickers are incredibly crooked, but I'm not going to mess with them now. It is what it is. But yeah, really love this color. The lemongrass foil I think went really well because of the yellowy greeny tone in this kit. I think it just pulled in really well. I will say that I was a little bit unsure about the foil bundle with this one because it's a flower, like a daisy bundle, I think. And it does make the headers look a little bit busy, especially when you're using underlays that are the same pattern. I feel like sometimes it can look really, really busy. But looking back on the spread now, I actually really, really like how I did it and how it came out. Anywho, let's go ahead and just jump into it because, again, we know that I like to not keep on track with my voiceovers, so let's just go ahead and get into the day-by-day plans. So first and foremost, I don't actually know. I had to stop and start the voiceover because I didn't actually speed up my footage, so that there might be a little bit of a jumpy transition. It is what it is. You guys know I'm trying to catch up. My husband's not home. I'm trying to take advantage of the time that I have, so apologies. But let's jump into it. So again, sidebar, stock standard. If you guys have any questions about any of the stickers, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, of course, I will link the stores that I use in this spread in the description. But first things first, on Monday, the first thing that I marked is that I worked in the office. And then below that, I marked that I barely slept. And I used this cute little duck sticker from Marshmallow Studio. I know that I always say that I'm not going to tell you where the stickers are from, but I think that that duck is so damn cute. I just had to share it. I then marked that I had a headache that day because of the fatigue, the no sleeping, and then you go into the office and there's just something about being in the office that makes me feel so incredibly fatigued. I don't know if it's the whole, like, from 2020 through to 2025, I worked in the office once a week. I was at home by myself every other day working, so I had no one around me except for my husband when he got home at 8 o'clock at night. So to then go into the office 2 to 3 times a week, my social battery, dead, kaput, gone. So that explains the headache. I then marked that because of said headache and not having slept, I did have a cheeky little nap on the couch when I got home from work. Then I watched Married at First Sight, and then at this point in time, I was reading Quicksilver on my Kindle. Tuesday, I marked that I had my car service at 7:45 in the morning. It's very, very early, but I look at it in the sense that if I drop my car off early, it gets done quicker, if that makes sense. So usually I drop it in somewhere within that 7 to 8 a.m. mark, and I'm usually done and out of there by 12:30. And because I can work from home, I take my work laptop with me, hotspot my phone, and I work while I'm there. So I'm not actually having to take a day off work. I can just work from the dealership. The good thing about my dealership is not only do they vac and wash my car or vacuum my car, you get a free coffee. Sorry, frog in my throat. And their like lounging area is really comfy. They have a TV, you can watch the TV. I sit and do my work. Free coffee, can't complain. I remember in, I think it was my previous Plan With Me video, I mentioned to you guys that like work bombs were being dropped and this day was no occasion. I remember this, yeah, I'm just reading. So at this moment in time, my work basically said to us, we were called into a last minute meeting. So bearing in mind, I'm at the car dealership. We got called into a last minute meeting, so no notice whatsoever. And our manager told us that 2 of our team members had to volunteer themselves to relocate to an alternate office and to a different team. By the end of the day, no, it wasn't even the end of the day. So this meeting was at about like, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And we were told that we had to have an answer to the management team by 2 p.m. of the 2 people who were going to leave. And if we didn't, we would be required to put in an expression of interest to keep our position. Now, an expression of interest you would like to think is fair, but I always feel like at my workplace, and I don't know if this is every other workplace as well, but I always feel like when an expression of interest goes out, the hiring people already know who it is that they want for that position or that role. So when you put in an expression of interest, it's kind of just like formality check. Like they're like, don't want you, thanks anyway. So naturally, all of us were panicking. They basically said to us, like, because we only had until 2 o'clock, we were like, okay, but what about our partners that we need to consult with? And what about those of us who had kids and that sort of thing? Like, it's not a decision you can make lightly. It's something that you probably need a couple of days to chew on because it was a complete relocation, change of team, so meeting new people. And they were like, yep, we asked those questions. They don't care. Answer by 2 o'clock or this is what's going to happen. So in my mind, I was automatically thinking, well, great. Expression of interest, if it goes to that, that means they're essentially going to say, I don't like you, you're relocating. And everyone else will get to keep their job. So I remember sitting there and crying because so much had been happening. Again, IVF cycles, like I was already dealing with that outside of work. My puppy was sick, my guinea pig was sick, and then this. So I was very stressed. I was crying. I remember that the car dealership guy came to hand me my keys to tell me my car was ready to go. And I was crying and he just looked at me like, oh God. And I'm like, no, like I'm okay. And he was like, oh, he was a really young guy, so I don't think he really knew what to do. But that was a little bit awkward. So that was this day. I remember it vividly. I think I will remember that day for the rest of my life. Like I said, I was working, so I've marked work in my planner as well. I did decide that to treat myself after the morning that I had, I would get some hot chips and a Coke for lunch. After work, I watched some ASMR on Twitch, and then I did some washing, and I accidentally I didn't go through my pockets, and I put my earphones in the washing machine. So bad day kept on getting badder, worse. They went through the wash. And then to finish off Tuesday, I watched Married at First Sight. Wednesday, I marked work at the top of the day there. I then had counselling at 11:30. So again, like I said, because of all of this going on, my miscarriage back in September, like I was seeing a counsellor, I had the IVF current cycle, the sick dog, the sick guinea pig, the stress at work. It was just a whole big thing. February was gross. March was gross. April was gross. Kind of. July was awful. Yeah. 2025, the year of the things. My manager then called me this day to obviously discuss the meeting that we'd had the previous day. Thankfully, there was actually 4 people from my team that volunteered to go to the new team and relocate. So we didn't have to go through the expression of interest process, but obviously that meant that we were losing some of our friends. And my manager rang and she was just basically saying, you know, she felt really crappy. She felt like there was nothing she could do and she wanted to support us, and we kind of just had a D&M. I marked that because of the last 2 days, I didn't do any work. I was too distracted. I watched Married at First Sight, and then I uploaded a haul that evening. On Thursday, I had a work in office day, and my dog Buddy was at the vet's. I had yet another D&M with my manager about work stuff, and I think, again, it was just her saying she was shitty and me saying, well, no, don't feel like that because you're really supportive and I appreciate you so much. Okay, I think in my last plan with me, I said that Buddy had a tumor on his heart. We'd seen a specialist, etc., etc. But no, Buddy had a heart murmur that was diagnosed at the vet from a general checkup, and we had to go to the specialist to check that the heart murmur was just a heart murmur. At the specialist, we also saw an oncologist. I don't know. I think I got all of my dates mixed up, actually. Maybe I'm getting my plan with me's mixed up because I've done my voiceovers out of whack, I think. Yeah. So I did a voiceover yesterday, but it's actually for the week after this. So in the week after this, I tell you guys about his heart murmur. But basically this day on the Thursday, Buddy was diagnosed with a tumor on his heart. So that was devastating. My husband cried. I cried. And then the next week we sort of spring into action. We go and see a specialist. We get all of that happening pretty quickly. But it was tough. It was tough. I watched Big Miracles, the IVF show this day, and I read Quicksilver on my Kindle that evening. And then I'm going to try and speed run the rest of the days. Again, like I said, I talked through Buddy's issues a little bit more in the week after this. Again, I probably shouldn't do things back to front because I get confused. But anyway, so Friday I had work. It was 34 degrees. I had sore eyes and marked that I was tired. I watched some ASMR on Twitch. We booked an oncology appointment for our dog. We went to Hungry Jack's, and then we watched Eternals. On Saturday, I marked that we slept until 11 a.m., that it was a hot day. We started watching Dexter Original Sin. I marked that I had a headache that ended up turning into a migraine, and because of said migraine, I ended up in bed at 8:30 p.m., which I also marked in my planner as well. And then on Sunday, I marked having a lazy morning, that we watched Dexter. I watched some YouTube. I pulled some stickers. NRL started, and then I marked that we finished out the evening by chilling with the doggos. Just to quickly recap, it sounds like careless or whatever, but it's been so long and so much has happened since I filmed this video and now. But Buddy with his heart murmur went to the oncologist. The week after this, like I said, I tell you that we went to the specialist and we went to the oncology department and decided on a course of action. We ended up doing radiation, which takes place in April. So obviously we're not in April yet, but I'll go through that in April's plan with me when I get to that point. And then from there, the year kind of went downhill. So like I said, March, terrible. April, predominantly terrible. July, awful. And then there was obviously some uplifting months throughout the year as well, but I definitely feel like 2025 was a year of dropped bombs, stress, anxiety, and just lots going on. Anywho, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all very, very soon for another video. Bye!